5, we'll go into a little bit more about the schedules and how we use them and how that information is pushed to them. I'll begin by looking into the light fixture schedule. As you've seen before, we use types to populate every single cell of this feature here. It is brought in as a group, and so if we wanted to make any edits to this notes column here, we would just double click and we can add notes as we need. The actual general electrical notes has been something that comes in as a family. You'd have to edit that family if you need to add an extra generic electrical note. From here, if you double click into the actual schedule, you can start editing once you hit this finish group command, right? And this changing a letter here will actually change it in the type. So if I were to change this to A7, for example, from A, it would give me a little bit of a warning saying this will be applied to all elements of that type. So on our plans, all the A's will go to A7, which is fine. It's just another means of editing your types, but it's just important to know that that's what it'll be doing physically on your plans. You can correct information from this point as well as clean up your schedule so that it can show exactly what you want it to reflect at the end of the day. To do some cleanup, what you can do is go over here under this Properties tab. You'll see that there's these 5 check boxes that have Edit next to it. Fields, Filter, Sorting, Formatting Group. If you hit Edit, it just takes you into a Schedules Property tab. Since I hit Appearance, it pushes me right to the Appearance one, but you can just slide over on the tabs and you'll get to the different features of that. If I went to Fields first, it would just default me to that Fields one immediately. One of the big features behind a schedule is its ability to filter, but we typically will end up filtering our interior lighting from our site lighting. We'll use the schedule sorting parameter that's embedded into each of our types to make sure that only the fixtures that we want come in at the time. So we'll also make sure that anything that's existing is dialed out by removing anything with an existing tag as X. And then also one thing that we'll do is we'll change our sorting so that we're alphabetical. As you can see from my schedule up here, it's AA1, A6, and it goes in order all the way through. Another item through the schedules that I see people getting a little bit confused with is I typically will have this default set to show new, but if you do anything along the lines of show previous and new, show previous and demo, fixtures will start to populate, or this schedule will start to populate with those phases of Revit. Revit's a phase software so that we can show demo components versus new components. So it's important when we're trying to make a schedule to indicate new items that it's always checked to new and you have the correct phase associated with it. This is a pretty common feature to most of our schedules, whether it's equipment schedule to lighting schedules to, just about anything under the sun in this browser. We use the phase quite frequently to make sure that we're getting the components that we are installing in that phase in the actual schedule and nothing else. I'm going to jump down to this lighting control device schedule. Once again, very similar concept to the lighting fixture schedule. Every single light or every single control device that we drop on plan is a different type, and those different types get pushed into this schedule. We phase it out so that it's only new devices and so on. As for the lighting control sequence, we actually put this little hexagon onto plan, and it's an actual physical entity on plan and a type, and we use those types to populate this schedule. It's pretty useful, it helps out, and we can embed in a lot more information that we couldn't necessarily or want to place into a light fixture. That's pretty much it for scheduling. They're pretty complicated, but once you get a hold of them, it's pretty neat in that they can do just about anything that you want, and you can really pull the data as you please. If you do have questions on schedules, just ask your project manager. They'll be able to walk you through them. But for now, we'll just keep it at that, and we'll pick up some more items for lighting training in the next video. Thank you.